It is the 12th day of April 2022. A very good evening to you. And welcome to Hope TV Newswatch. My name is Kennedy Kimani and Boniface Murithi will be assisting with the sign language interpretation. Now, the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority KEMSA has flagged off trucks loaded with medical supplies to drought-hit counties as cushion for primary health management. KEMSA Acting CEO John Kabushi led the off ceremony of the 380 million shillings essential medical supplies to counties ahead of Easter, where he said the reforms being implemented in the institution are bearing fruit. As Dickens Lovanda reports, over 3.1 million Kenyans are facing starvation as a result of biting drought.
In a bid to provide cushion for primary health management in drought-stricken counties, the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority KEMSA has released medical supplies worth 380 million shillings to rural arid and semi-arid devolution units.
Flag off a consignment for the counties and assure counties that KEMSA is equal to the task. The refill rate of KEMSA to the counties was low, but with the reforms that we have seen, the refill rate has gone to around 78%.
The drugs are destined for counties such as Kilifi, Marsabit, Samburu, Baringo, Garissa and Tana River as the government continues to ensure the implementation of the universal health coverage, one of the Jubilee government's Big Four agenda, which aims to ensure equal access to quality and affordable medical coverage by the end of 2022.
We are continuing to affirm that KEMSA has enough drugs for the counties, and apart from that, our free flag, we want to assure Kenyans that the supply chain is working very well.
According to the Public Service Youth and Affairs Cabinet Secretary Margaret Kobia, the current situation has affected 28 counties in the arid and semi-arid lands, and Marsabit is being hit the worst, followed by Turkana and Wajir counties. Meru and West Pokot are also on alert, according to the latest update from the National Drought Management Authority (NDMA). Kobia, who was speaking during the launch of the Pamoja Tuungane Relief Food Program in Nairobi on Monday, revealed the total population requiring relief assistance, as informed by the findings of the short range assessment of January-February 2022, is 31 million Kenyans.
We strongly believe cash transfer is one of the solutions, because when people are given cash, they can go to the supermarket like Naivas and buy the food that they need.
At the regional level, a report released by the Intergovernmental Authority Development IGAD in Nairobi on Monday disclosed that at least 3.5 million Kenyans are in desperate need of food assistance following an excruciating drought last seen 40 years ago.
29 million people are facing high level of food insecurity, according to the latest expert estimates. Already 15.5 to 16 million of our sisters and brothers are in need of immediate food assistance.
IGAD Executive Secretary Woknu Jibihu says millions of people in Somalia, Kenya and Ethiopia are experiencing a drought of a length not experienced in the last 40 years.
This is 6 to 6.5 million in Ethiopia, 3.5 million in Kenya and 6 million in Somalia. We are appealing to all the partners that this region is also in acute drought that may cause a disaster.
UNDP puts his own knowledge and work in this area to the avail of IGAD and the countries in the Horn to address long-term resilience building through new technologies.
Already, 15.5 million to 16 million people in Africa region are in need of immediate food assistance due to the drought, and the situation is deemed to worsen in the coming months. Dickens Lovanda, Hope TV Newswatch.
Thank you so much, Dickens, for that report. Now, Deputy President William Ruto says Kenya Kwanza is keen on reconfiguring the political foundation of the country. Speaking at the Ngong Racecourse, where political parties under the Kenya Kwanza signed a coalition agreement, the DP said the Kenya Kwanza coalition will bring back integrity and put an end to politics of deceit. Meanwhile, the Central Organization of Trade Union Leaders have backed the candidature of Raila Odinga to vie for presidency. Tony Omondi now reports.
The Kenya Kwanza coalition is exuding the confidence of clinching the presidency in the August 9th general election following the cementing of a coalition pact with parties under the coalition. Deputy President William Ruto, who is the coalition's flag bearer, the coalition is now formidable and ready to transform the country and deliver it from the shackles of political conmanship.
The team we are putting together this afternoon is the team that will rid our country of the politics of deceit, the politics of betrayal. We are saying loud and clear that a nation is built on the foundation of integrity.
We talked about a trust deficit some time back. But it seems people do not learn much about what we are saying. Because right now, what we are seeing somewhere else is that there is a resurrection of that trust deficit.
Meanwhile, with the ongoing fuel crisis in the country, the Deputy President has blamed the government, especially the Ministry of Energy and that of Treasury, for the ongoing woes, saying the supplementary budget approved by President Kenyatta last week has not yet solved the puzzle, leaving Kenyans suffering in the hands of oil marketers.
The fuel crisis in the country, the issues are getting longer. Surely, Kenyans deserve some answers. It is not enough for the Ministry of Energy to tell us long stories about there being or being owed. Money has continuously been collected. Kenyans have continuously paid taxes on fuel.
The DP has also castigated the ongoing registration of SIM cards by the country's telcos, calling on the Communication Authority of Kenya to halt the ongoing registration until a later date, casting aspersions on the whole process.
We want to ask our people in the city, please be human. Kenyans are queuing everywhere. It is not necessary for them to queue for a SIM card for them to register. We have enough time. What is this magic about writing?
As the Kenya Kwanza continued to strategize and structure the coalition for stiff competition in August, trade unions under the umbrella of the Central Organization of Trade Unions, KOTU, have endorsed the Azimio la Umoja, One Kenya presidential flag bearer Raila Odinga's State House bid, vowing to carry out campaigns in all parts of the country. KOTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli said Odinga is best suited to sort out labor issues as president.
RC, when we welcomed it, it was an advisory role. Now it has centered itself in management of industrial relations practice within public service unions. Hindrance.
ODM leader Raila Odinga, who was flanked by his presidential campaign board chairperson Nderitu Muriithi, pledged to institute a decent housing allowance for all workers.
Now, we as Azimio, we want together to build an economy that is creating jobs, and not just any jobs, meaningful jobs for all Kenyans, well-paying jobs for all Kenyans.
During the session organized by KOTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli, the unions presented a memorandum to Odinga containing pressing issues they wanted handled by his administration should he be elected. Tony Omondi for Hope TV Newswatch.
Thank you so much, Dick and Tony, for that report. Now, the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance claims it will remain united in the face of recent disagreements within the coalition. Speaking after a meeting with various parties' secretary-generals, the coalition's executive director, Raphael Tuju, clarified that tension within the outfit will be resolved by a team within the coalition. The statement comes a day after Oka moved to the registrar of political parties to stop the registration of the coalition under the new name. Grace Ongowi with more on the story.
Weeks after its formation, the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition is facing turbulence. Fresh disagreement emerged on Monday after 4 parties petitioned the registrar of political parties not to register the coalition. The 4 parties, Wiper, KANU, United Democratic Party UDP, and the Movement for Democracy and Growth MDG claim that the agreement submitted on April 1st, 2022 was altered without the consent of respective parties. In a rejoinder, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance has stated that there is nothing to worry about as a team within the coalition is working to resolve the disagreement.
So we will resolve the matter. How it will be resolved, then we leave the details to the team within the coalition that are going to deal with the matter. And as far as I'm concerned, there's no cause for alarm. I think our focus is very important. The beacon is 9th of August, and that is more important than any turbulences that we may face at this particular moment in time. We are together, but that does not mean that we don't have competing interests sometimes, which it is friendship with it, and there's also certain areas where we'll have conflict, but that happens in every family.
Speaking after a meeting with Secretary Generals of various parties within the outfit, the coalition's Executive Director Raphael Tuju expressed confidence that there is transparency within the coalition, noting that Kenyans will be presented with the coalition document once all details are agreed upon.
The final document, which is going to be certified by the Registrar of Political Parties, is going to be in the public domain. The moment it is certified, it is a public document, and everybody will have a chance to interrogate it, criticize it, trash it. It's okay.
Wiper Secretary General Shakila Mohammed and KANU Secretary General Nick Salat, who were present in the meeting, acknowledged turbulence in the coalition but expressed their commitment to continue being a part of the Raila Odinga-led coalition.
Any other grievances that may arise from time to time, we will have an in-house discussion before it gets out there. So it is not that we are not united behind our presidential candidates, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, who we believe this team here will deliver the presidency through Azimio to the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga.
We are here today to reiterate and affirm our unity as Azimio Oka. We know that maybe you will have questions regarding the letter which came out yesterday from Oka. We want to tell you that letter is legitimate and it is being handled by the principals. We never had this forum before, but we have agreed from today henceforth that this forum is the one to be channeled for any issues or any concerns concerning any party which we are in together as a coalition.
Meanwhile, Machakos Governor Dr. Alfred Mutua, through a statement, has rubbished declarations by the One Kenya Alliance, Oka, that the contents of the Azimio-Oka coalition agreement was altered. Mutua accused Oka of causing exclusivity through their demands instead of uniting Kenyans. Grace Wangoi for Hope TV Newswatch.
Much appreciated, Grace, for that report. Now, residents of Mtepeni Ward in Kilifi South constituency have protested over the ODM nominations, the results which they allege was manipulated to impose unwanted leadership on them. The residents allege that Basil Mwalala Mwalango, their preferred candidate whom they voted for, was robbed of his victory and the certificate issued to Brown Safari. Led by Harrison Nyundo, an elder in the community, they say that Basil won in all the 3 polling stations, but the results were delayed only to be announced last night that Safari had won. The residents have given the party until the end of the week to repeat the exercise or else part ways with the party.
Kweli kabisa huu kijana alipigiwa kura. Lakini sasa ikatoka tena mtu mwingine ambaye aliharibu hiyo maneno atakuwa akose tikiti ya hiyo kwamba yeye amekosa, amepewa mtu mwingine ambaye atakupiga kura na wala hakusimama na wala hakufanya lolote.
Kiwanja chote hichi kilikuwa kina vibrate Basil. But unfortunately the game they were playing iliwauza because the total votes ni almost 3,000 ama 2,500. Yes. What they reported was 538.
Kwa nini kunafanyika dhulma namna hii? Kitu tunachoomba Brown arudishe certificate. Yes. Airegeshe certificate. Ikiwa haitawezekana, basi mambo yaende mbele.
Tunasema ya kwamba Basil alishinda vituo vyote.
Yes.
And the person who was given this ticket, hata ni mtu ambaye kutoka huku. Ni mtu aliletwa na hao watu. Ni kama ni njama ilikuwa imepangwa.
Yes.
Kwa hivyo, tunataka tu vitu viwili kutoka kwa ODM members.
Yeah.
It's either Basil apewe the certificate, ama we go back to election. Kura mchujo irejelelewe.
Now to an interesting political campaign story. Young aspirants for various elective positions in Nakuru County are increasingly devising ways to reach out to the electorate amid prevailing economic hardships. They are bubbling with zeal to make a difference in a society that they claim has relegated them to second place in order of its priorities. This is the case for two aspirants who are using their less economic means to campaign, as Dolly Murigi now tells us.
Youth trying a hand at politics lament an uneven platform which they say favors older candidates who are well endowed with resources to oil their campaigns machinery. This has seen many young aspirants fall by the wayside and eventually miss out on leadership opportunities that can pose them as ambassadors of their own interest in the society. In Nakuru County, they are increasingly devising ways to reach out to the electorate amid the tough economic times. No loud music pulsating from huge loudspeakers, no pop and color that is punctuated with branded government freebies for members of public who ordinarily would mill around campaigning politicians seeking the votes, and no eye and vehicles. In the campaign's hubbub deep in Shababwad, this 25-year-old Irene Jerry Koech was hit the campaign trail with a camel that she has borrowed from her father's friend. The tourism management graduate is seeking nomination and election for the Shababwad representative in the United Democratic Alliance UDA party. Primaries slated for this Thursday and the August 9th elections respectively.
The reason as to why natumia ngamia is because ngamia ni okay, sina ukiniangalia hivi mimi ni mtu humble, like sina pesa and all that, so the only thing I could afford kutumia ni ngamia. Apart from that, unaona kama saizi for example venye hakuna mafuta and all that, mafuta imekuwa bei kali, so unakuta hata hiyo pesa ya kuafford kuweka kutafuta motorbike hata uweke mafuta ni ngumu sana zaidi.
Jerry has settled on the camel, which she says is convenient for a long day campaigns because it can weather the area terrain, demands less water and food, and the animal can carry her and two of her friends who are her campaign assistants. Jerry's idea is to identify with thousands of her peers who are add up and on the edge. Armed with a horn speaker to amplify her sound, she's going round the world with messages of hope and peace. She wants women and youth to give her the opportunity to be the voice of reason. For if elected, she will secure them at the elusive seat of Nakuru County table where the cake is shared.
Nitasaidia youth kunacha talents zao, na pia nitaangalia youth in terms of job, whereby nitawasaidia like kuwapatia advice ama like kama ni business ndogo tunaweza saidiana.
Jerry is not alone. 30-year-old David Wadhiai Masharia is also riding a branded bicycle to pitch his ideas to the eager electorate in the area. Wadhiai contends that he is in dire straits after COVID-19 pandemic disrupted his business, but is not daunted by the logistical nightmare of covering 10 square kilometers of Iswa to seek votes.
Sasa sisi kama youth tumemake a decision to make a step forward, at least to try and find opportunities for society, and that's why Irene Jerry Koech ambaye amesema atajituma kutu represent, at least tukasema tutampatia support yetu 100%.
For Jerry and Wadhiai, the economic status is only an inspiration to their goal. It is a means to a goal that they say is not theirs as individuals but for the commonwealth.
Ni initiative fiti sana. Na hiyo strategy imekuja poa kwa sasa hivi, vile mafuta watu wanateseka huku nje, unatafuta other means kufanya campaign, unacheki ngamia, mapunda.
Dolly Murigi, Hope TV.
Thank you so much, Dolly, for that report. Now, that story by Dolly takes us to our first break. We'll be back in a moment with more news. Stay with us.
Easter is a time when you get to reflect on the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Join Bishop Callisto Odede as he expounds more on the lessons from the Easter story tomorrow night on Spotlight at 7:30 p.m. exclusively on Hope TV.
This week on Testify.
Worthy is the Lamb. Hiyo siku ndo nilienda tu mbele, hata sijui wokovu ni nini. Mimi nimezoea kwa msikiti, mezoea nini kwa msikiti, kufunga maleso, kufanya nini, na yani mambo mingi. Tukutane katika Testify Alhamisi jioni saa 2 katika Hope TV.
Where you look and live.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now, First Lady Margaret Kenyatta has rallied the health sector stakeholders to invest more in interventions aimed at strengthening Kenya's disease resilience collaborative efforts. She said inadequate resilience to disease outbreaks among Kenyan communities, especially among vulnerable groups, distribute the country's towards attaining universal health coverage. First Lady spoke at Tuesday when she officially opened the International Conference on Health Promotion at the Kenyatta University held under the theme of promoting health during and beyond COVID-19. While reflecting on the negative impact of COVID-19, First Lady Margaret Kenyatta held the conference bringing together stakeholders to develop synergies, create partnerships, and find solutions to Kenya's health challenges.
This conference, therefore, gives us an opportunity to reflect on some of the invaluable lessons we have learned as a country and as a world from the COVID-19 pandemic. It will also contribute to identifying sustainable practices that will build on our collective efforts for improving the well-being of our communities, especially vulnerable populations who have been impacted most. Today, we see encouraging signs of declining cases of COVID-19 globally, but we cannot forget the fragilities of our health system and the need to increase our resilience so that we can protect ourselves from potential disruptions that are still a reality. Pandemics such as COVID-19 can impede our efforts toward building a secure health system that brings our country closer to achieving universal health coverage. Central to this effort is to ensure that our most vulnerable communities, especially women and children, are protected. Because even before the pandemic, inequalities of access have existed.
Moving on, the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya has raised concern at the high cost of living in the country caused by increasing the cost of food and fuel prices. Led by ISPAC Chairman George Makua, the Institute proposed that the government puts in place measures that can days after Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani presented the 2022-2023 budget proposal to Parliament.
The Institute is concerned by the high standard of living caused by persistent increase in the cost of food and fuel prices. According to the data from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, the overall year-on-year inflation rate, as measured by the Consumer Price Index, was 5.56% as at March 2022. With such a rise in inflation, the Institute urges the government to continue introducing measures that cushion citizens, such as a reduced VAT rate for basic and essential commodities. Number two, the Institute notes with concern that the ongoing fuel crisis in the country has and continues to affect productivity in key sectors of the economy. This will have significant impact in growth projections this year. We implore upon the government to urgently engage stakeholders in the petroleum sector to avert fuel shortages and crises in future. We also urge the government to consider long-term supply interventions, including enhancing the country's strategic fuel reserves to address similar risks in the future.
Now, 90-year-old Mama Miriam Kisoi is one of the few women in Kenya who fought for the independence and used to tell the Mamao tales. It is the work of the late Major General Kurito Ole Kisoi, whom together they participated in the Mamao secret activities within Orolopoi area in the current Narok South sub-county. Ole Kisoi was a renowned veteran war hero who participated in the Second World War from 1939 to 1945 and continued to serve in the British Army until the year 1949 when he opted to quit the job to join Mamao when it was a secret organization. As Jess Ndenga now reports, Mama Kisio, who lives in a firstborn son's plot at London Estate in Narok Town, is asking the government to grant her a piece of land she can call her own.
Though in her 90s, Mama Miriam Kisio vividly recalls how she struggled for her country to gain independence. Married to General Kurito Ole Kisio in 1950, who was actively involved in Mau Mau activities, she was taken into hiding in Morijo area in Narok South sub-county to spare her life.
Wazungu walikuwa na mizinga, leta vadioli, leta uzulieto vijana na ajibu Subaru. Kingine ilikuwa kimawe, kama kimawe kinaenda barabara Subaru. Basi walikuwa na ndege, walikuwa na kila kitu. Sisi tulishinda si nguvu, ni ubedo. Kile tulikuwa watu napendana, watu walikuwa napendana sana. Lakini sisi ni Mungu sasa ulitusaidia.
While in prison in 1954, she received the sad news through public hearsay that her husband had been killed by the colonial administration. She remembers being taken to Entara detention camp in Narok and after a while transferred to Olokuto detention camp where she was released in 1956.